Hello, everyone, and welcome to a virtual tour of my brand new website, lindacatalan.com. I am Linda Catalan, and I'm an executive and career acceleration coach, and I'm super excited to share with you the launch of my brand new website. First of all, I want to thank all of you for watching this video, but more importantly, I want to thank you for being part of my community. Some of you have been with me since the very start of my coaching practice, which is now 15 years. Together, we've been on a journey of both personal and professional development and growth. And I wouldn't be here right now launching my new brand and my new website if it wasn't for your trust and support over all these years. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So let me quickly go over what we're going to cover in today's video. In today's virtual tour, I'm going to share with you my journey from corporate banker to professional coach, including how and why I got into coaching in the first place. And throughout the video, I'll share some various web pages from my new website so that you can see what and where to find different pieces of information as you do your own tour of the website. I'll also walk you through the home page, which you're looking at right now, and talk about how to get my free e-report and why you should. I'll take you on to all three of the web pages regarding my services under the Work With Me link to walk you through the various services I provide, as well as some definitions, some ideal clients for each service, and even share with you some client success stories. Then I'll take you to my blog and show you where you can access dozens and dozens of articles on a wide range of topics. So that'll be really cool as well. So let me get started. And remember, what we're looking at here is my brand new website, lindacatalan.com. And this is the homepage. And so I want to start with just a little bit about me and my journey. So I'm going to take you to the Meet Linda page of my website, which has a little bio there. And I won't read the bio. You can read that on your own when you visit the website. But I just want to take you through my journey, because my journey started, gosh, even before I got into coaching. About 3 years before I got into coaching, I was a corporate executive working for one of the major banks here in Canada. I was, I had been in banking my entire career to that point and loved banking until I didn't. And the last couple of years were particularly stressful for a variety of different reasons. I was becoming quite bored, quite stressed. The home and work demands were becoming very too much to handle, quite frankly. And so I was starting to burn out, be very stressed. And I was probably in my midlife crisis, asking myself, is this as good as it gets? I knew I could do more. I've always wanted to start my own business, didn't know what I wanted to do. But I had at that point, after almost 26 years of banking, I knew that it was time to make a transition, to make a change. And so I had no idea how to make that change. I had been a banker my entire career, right out of university. And so how does one go about making that kind of a change? And I stumbled a lot. I took a variety of different courses. I mean, I did an aura reading class to see if that was of interest. And I took a variety of different trainings in different areas of interest. And I met with different people. and really kind of started my research in terms of what was out there, what could I do, what should I do, that type of thing. And I also embarked, because I was kind of going through my own stress, I was actually also incorporating a lot of techniques into to kind of help mitigate the stress that I was under. So doing a lot of reading in personal development. I actually became a self-help junkie. So for some of you out there going through that stage, you know what it's like. I literally couldn't absorb enough books in the self-help field. And every time I went to a bookstore, I would pick up a new book and new CDs to play in my car. Back then, we were doing CDs. Anyway, to make a long story short, I, through this process, the self-discovery process, remember, I'm still at the bank at this point, I really kind of went through, you know, a stumbling of into trying to figure out, what do I want to do? What's my second act? Where do I go from here? And I started by looking at all the things that I was really good at. And I also looked at the things that I still really enjoyed in my banking career. And everything pointed to the things that I most enjoyed was the mentoring and coaching people. I had been a people leader for a number of years in a variety of different leadership roles. And that was the thing that I most enjoyed right to the very end of my banking career. It's the thing that really gave me passion and purpose. And I love turning light bulbs on for people and watching, taking someone junior and grooming them over time, and then seeing them kind of, I'm going to call it grow up, but grow up and grow up, and become leaders in their own right. And, watching people kind of really come into their own was very satisfying for me. And so it became clearer that that was the path that I was going to take. And as I was talking to different people, I talked to some other people that had kind of exited the banking world and were onto different things, and going through a process of figuring out, what do I do next? And one of those people that I met had gone into coaching, and she was really quite encouraging, that is something that I should consider. And so I started on this process of considering coaching. And so when I finally made the decision to leave the bank and kind of negotiated an exit with the bank, I started out deciding that I was going to be a coach. Now, no formal coach training, but years and years of coaching and mentoring within an organizational environment. I was known for my coaching and mentoring, and by that point, I already had significant coaching experience in terms of, I had worked with Development Canada for mentoring for business organizations. So I had had a lot of coaching, but no formal coach training or accreditation. And so I remember this well. I went, and one of the people that I met was someone that I had worked with the bank. He was in HR, and he was now in HR and outside of the bank in another organization. And I met with him and I said, I'm thinking of starting coaching. He says, great, I'll give you your first client. And from that day on, I was a coach. And so that's what started my coaching. And I loved it right from the minute that I started. Now, remember, this was 15 years ago, and coaching was still relatively new and very uncharted territory at that point. And so there wasn't a lot, there weren't as many training organizations as there are today. There wasn't as much focus on the accreditation. It was a very different environment to be a coach in, but also there wasn't a lot of awareness of what coaching is and how it can help. But having gotten my start in it, dabbled my feet in it, I knew that I loved it instantly. And from there, as they say, the rest is history. So that was the start of my coaching. And now it's been 15 years. I love it. I still love it. And I can't imagine doing anything else. And now I get to help multiple people, not in one organization, but in multiple organizations. So I am thrilled that I made the decision when I did. And as I said, the rest you can read in the formal bio you can read, but I thought it would be helpful to kind of just share with you how I got into coaching and why it's still very relevant and very important to me today. So here we are. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because we're launching the website, but also if you haven't considered working with a coach, if you haven't worked with a coach before, I strongly encourage you to figure that out. I think that the process of my self-discovery process could have been shortened I know it could have been shortened tremendously. I could have taken it from 3 years down to like 6 months had I been working with a coach at that point. But at that point, it was, as I said before, fairly uncharted territory. So do consider a coach. Now let me take you back to the home page of my website, where I want to walk you through this page because I think it's an important one. It's an important one because right off the bat, first of all, you can see that I've rebranded colors as well as I've gone to using my own name rather than Results Catalyst. Although that's still my legal company name, I am operating as Linda Catalan now. And there were several reasons for doing that. For one thing, I found that people were having challenge, unless they knew that Results Catalyst was associated with me, they were having a hard time finding me on the web. And so going to using my name made it so much easier for clients and prospects to actually find me. I feel I was in desperate need for a brand change as it was. My old website was last done in 2009. So that seems like a dinosaur now compared to what's available today. So I needed to kind of spruce that up. Even from a colors perspective, the blues and the grays seem very dated now, but also they were more reflective of who I was at the time rather than how I've evolved. And so adding the splash of red to me signifies passion. The gray still has a little bit of that corporate, feel, but the red is definitely more me, more passion, more purpose in my work. And so I wanted to kind of interject that in there. So the brand really reflects who I am currently and how I want to support you. The website is much easier to navigate. I'm thrilled. Sarah and Jen did a fabulous job, so I'm very happy. There's information on every page that's relevant for people. They can access, email me from any page, and there's tons of good information there. So I just think it's so much easier. I also, in this process, I also rebranded and renamed my newsletter from Road to Results to Career Accelerator. So you'll notice that, and that's really in just keeping with the whole career acceleration theme, which is really, I will say that the career acceleration kind of came out of the what I do best. And we'll talk about some of the client examples, but really over the years, I have been really successful with, I'm going to call it pipeline executives, mid-level leaders, senior managers, executives, C-suite executives, what I call people in the pipeline that are critical to the business from an operational perspective, from getting things done. And they have to balance that strategy and tactics component in their work. And I'm really effective at helping them see the bigger picture, help them elevate their level of commitment, their level of work, their success in the workplace, and help them transition when needed or when desired to the next level up or across, or whatever that looks like for them. So my success has really been kind of proven there. I really enjoy it. And so I thought I would incorporate that into my logo, which is why you see the career acceleration there. Okay, so we're on the home page, and the first thing that you see is, of course, other than a picture of me, what you see on the left-hand side is you see the attention stuck career professionals, because hey, a lot, when I think of, how I got here, I was a stuck career professional. I was, at that stage where I was asking, is this as good as it gets? I wanted to do something different. I didn't know what. And people are stuck for different reasons. Some people are stuck the way I was stuck, asking the question, is this as good as it gets? Some people are stuck because they're really trying to break the glass ceiling to actually move from a manager level into a director or an executive level, and are just beating their heads against the wall, not knowing how to do it. In some cases, it may be a female who's trying to break into the C-suite, and dealing with all kinds of personalities, politics, etc. So there are a number of reasons or ways people can get stuck in their careers. Some people get stuck because they want to make a change out of their career and they just don't know how, or they're too afraid. So there's all kinds of reasons people are stuck. And so the e-report that you see there is some of the common reasons that your career could be stuck in neutral, and then some things that you can do about it. So I go through 15 different tips and strategies of how to get unstuck in your career. There's also an email support series that kind of gives you some additional ideas. And there's also a free training. If you sign up for the e-report, you'll also get information on how to access the free training as well to develop your confident career plan. So all that is for free. All you need to do is to click where it says get it now, and it'll ask you for your name and email address. Just pop that in and you will get the report, and you'll be in the rotation to get all of the goodies that comes with the signing up. So that's the first thing that you see on my website. The other thing you'll see up here, you'll see the tabs, and we'll go through some of the tabs, not all of the tabs. This is the home page. We quickly saw the Meet Linda, which has my bio on there. We're going to go through each of these, the Work With Me. There's 3 separate web pages there, and the blog where there's a ton of information. And then of course a Connect With Me. So you can take a look at that when you take a look. But just further down on the home page, another way to access the Work With Me is right here in these 3 boxes. And I'm just going to move this up a little bit so you can see it a little bit more clearly. You'll see here a career acceleration coaching, learn more, transformation coaching, learn more, or HR talent management leadership development, learn more. So those are the 3 separate web pages that we'll go into in just a moment. But you can go enter those 3 web pages from here, or you can enter them from the tab here, and just by clicking on one of these will also take you to those individual home web pages. Moving further down, you'll see my photo here with a short bio. If you click here, it'll take you to the Meet Linda with the full bio. And then scrolling past here, I'm going to pull this up a little bit. You'll see success stories, and this is a series of testimonials that are circulating through. Just a sampling of testimonials, but people that I've worked with over the years who have given me testimonials. If they've given me a testimonial, then some of them may be here. And then at the bottom of the homepage, what you'll see is the recent posts. So the most recent blog posts. I always do a blog post in my newsletter first and then post it to my blog. So if you're on my newsletter, you will read the blog post first there. and then it gets posted to my blog post. But here are the two most recent. To sign up for my newsletter, which now is being called Career Accelerator, you sign up here for free, and that will take you to a page to put your name and email address in. And then my contact information is right there, as well as if you want to link in with me, my LinkedIn link, my Twitter handle, and my YouTube page. So feel free to check it out. At the bottom, here's a privacy policy, and that's the homepage. So I encourage you to take a look, to wander around and to check it out for yourself. So I'm just going to take you through each of these Work With Me pages for a moment. And first, I'm taking you to the Career Acceleration Coaching page. And here, I'm just going to go past my photo here. And what you'll see, the Career Acceleration, I have labeled the Career Acceleration into what I call 4 key buckets: career planning, career progression readiness, career transition, and breaking your career glass ceiling group coaching. The reason why I did it this way is based on how people have self-identified themselves when they come to me and want to work with me. So over the years, over the 15 years, people will actually use some of this terminology. And so I've incorporated it here because this is how people self-identify. The reality is, if you don't see a header here, doesn't mean that it's not work that I do. It could be something I'm calling career acceleration, you're calling something else. Don't hesitate to drop me an email or give me a call. Chances are that I probably do the kind of coaching that you need to support you, but it may just not be articulated here. So the career planning, ideal for someone who wants to take a long view in their career. Maybe someone starting out in their career or earlier in their career and want to kind of be more planful about their career. Also someone in their mid-career where there is, I'm going to say, they have a shorter run in terms of the end of their career, and so what's important is really making the right decisions. And so that's another person that could benefit from it, or someone at the end of their career and they're trying to plan their way out. So there's different people that can help. What I've identified here is this could be ideal for someone who's stuck in their career or they're struggling in their role, and maybe they're overworked or overwhelmed, or it could be someone mid-career that's worked really hard to get where they're going, to get to where they are, but they don't know how to get out of what they are into something else. And so there's a variety of different scenarios that it would suit. The career progression is really someone that wants to move forward. They're either don't know how to move forward, or everything that they're doing seems to be not enough to help them move forward. So they might be doing all the right things and still kind of beating their head against the wall, having a hard time kind of breaking that ceiling for a variety of different reasons. And they may have some blind spots that they don't see. And so the career progression readiness is helpful from a number of different perspectives. One, to help them actually help identify those blind spots so we can overcome them, or to look at a strategic way of how to progress your career. So this could, in some cases, it could be someone that wants to move up within their organization, or it could be someone that wants to get a new opportunity outside their organization. So, with this is, I can, review your resume, help you with your resume, help you with your interviewing process and all of that good stuff as well. So sometimes I will get someone that's going through that transition where they need help figuring out what to do, but then they also need help in actually landing the what they want to do. So it's kind of both pieces of that, or in some cases it's one or the other. Anyway, so that's career progression. Career transition is more what I just talked about. This could also be someone thinking about retiring and they're not sure if it's the right time for them. Or it could be someone that's lost their job and they want to secure a new role and they just maybe don't know how, or they haven't been successful on their own. Sometimes they'll come to me because they've, you know, been trying on their own and they kind of don't know what else they can do, and so they'll hire me to kind of help them, and we kind of go through a process of that. The Breaking Your Career Glass Ceiling is a group program that I offer from time to time. It's been very successful, and I don't have one planned at the moment, but I would be very happy to coordinate one if someone came up with a group of at least 3 people. I would probably run a program, and I could probably fill a program with that. So certainly if you have an interest, take a look at that. And let me just talk about some of the successes I've had in this area of my coaching. In this area of my coaching, I just want to share with you a couple of success stories. And I'm going to just, I always, if I'm sharing a story, I like to change the person's name and identity so that, you know, it's not evident in terms of who I'm talking about. So in this situation, this is the same case study that you may have seen. I have used it before, but it's a story about James. And James was actually in sales. He was a sales leader, a regional level, you know, district manager kind of sales leader for a prominent brand company. And he was being passed over for promotion. So couldn't understand why every time someone got promoted, he would be beat out. And he was really becoming increasingly frustrated with himself and also the organization. And so he was feeling unappreciated, undervalued, like all of those things. And he was worried that, you know, kind of his motivation would start to show through and that it would start to impact or affect his work effort. And so he hired me, and we worked on a variety of different strategies. But one of the things that, you know, what we did to kind of help him get unstuck is we looked at his accomplishments. We looked at where he was in his career, and we actually looked at how he might actually be contributing to being passed over for promotion. So we kind of identified some opportunities and some situations where he could kind of take a leadership role so that he could get noticed, and not from a, I'm going to say not from a self-promotion kind of way, but from a way that could get him recognized. And so we, you know, so that it wouldn't come off as bragging, but it would come off as showcasing him. And so we identified some opportunities. I coached him in terms, you know, through this process. And, you know, in particular, in his case, it was really important to keep his mindset sharp so that he wouldn't continue to get frustrated. And together we kind of developed this career plan, and also what I call a readiness plan, so that, you know, we got his resume up. Even though he was looking for opportunities within the organization, we got his resume up to date. We put together like a 30, 60, 90-day plan, and we really kind of packaged him up, you know, upped his executive presence and really made him marketable. We also did some role playing, so that every time he went to an informational interview or an actual interview, that he would put his best foot forward and he would show up in the most positive way possible. Anyway, the long and short of it is that he did end up getting promoted. which was very exciting. Everybody loved his readiness plan. It became a bit of a model for other people within the organization. And so it was a tremendous success story. So that was one that I really enjoyed working with and had a lot of fun with. Another success story that I had, or one that kind of gives you a good example of like a career acceleration. This was a client of mine who I'm calling Anne, and she was really frustrated because no matter what she did, she couldn't seem to get ahead. She kind of hit her own ceiling, if you will. And so she hired me to help her. And what's interesting is that sometimes what gets you to your current level in terms of skill sets and competencies doesn't kind of actually you keeps you at a certain level. So sometimes you kind of have to break through those competencies to get to the next level. And certainly that was the case in Anne's situation. She was super, super smart, brilliant actually, really hard worker. But she really kind of was almost like pigeonholed at that level. So we worked together. We identified some of the blind spots that she had about herself, and so that was really important. I took her through a series of self-assessment tools as well, and there's several that I like. I listed a couple of them on the HR talent page, but you know, even though she was bright and she was very hardworking, she didn't really have a great relationship with her boss. And even though she had a great relationship with her boss's boss, one of the places that we started with was building and even mending some of the bridges in her relationship with her boss. Because what she had was she had her boss's support, but she didn't have her boss's sponsorship and endorsement to be promoted to the next level. So while her boss was very supportive of her, she wasn't endorsing her. And so we really worked on that relationship so that she would not just have her support, but also her sponsorship and endorsement. And she did eventually move on to a great job and had fun doing that. So that's a couple of examples under career acceleration. I want to point out one other thing on this particular page. Right down at the bottom here, it says, I'm happy to discuss your specific situation, how I can help. And I encourage you, if you have a particular situation, you're not sure whether it's right for coaching or not, you're not sure how to move forward, then just schedule an appointment with me. It's a 30-minute appointment. We can have a chat about it. We can see if we're a good fit, if coaching is right for you, and how we can work together. So I encourage you to use that. And then again, what you see on the bottom of every page is my most recent blog post, my contact information, and a sign up for the newsletter. So that is the career acceleration page. Now I'm going to take you to the transformation page, which, when I think of transformation, I really think of life coaching, but I think life coaching is such an overused word. So I wanted to kind of position it more as life coaching rather than more as transformation coaching, because I see it as more transformational than life coaching. But what you see here is I have identified it as life coaching, life purpose, and even life planning. So sometimes I will get clients who, they'll actually use the words, where I don't know what my purpose is, or I don't have a purpose anymore, or I'm trying to figure out my purpose. Sometimes it's people young, early in their careers, and sometimes it's people that have had a full career or full life trying to figure out the second act. And what I often find is, especially when it relates to career, is that sometimes people fall into a career or into a job and they stay, and then all of a sudden they don't know how they got there. And so then they start questioning everything. Well, why am I here? What did I miss out on? What should I have been doing? And so they start this whole kind of self-discovery process. So life coaching could look at a variety of different things. Definitely career could be one of the aspects, but it could be more than that. So I've had people come to me because they're stressed or anxious about different areas of their life, and they're looking for some support, some relief. They're in overwhelm. That's a common one. They're in overwhelm. They're stressed, and they just need help to get unstressed and kind of get control back in their life. And so sometimes it's a particular area of life, and sometimes it's just general overwhelm. So I kind of label all of that as life coaching and life purpose I briefly talked about. But essentially, this whole category, in my mind, is kind of a life coaching. Let me just give you a couple of examples of some clients that I worked with. One client that I'm calling Ruth came to me just she was exploring various options to take in the next stage of her life. So she was kind of, at that stage where I don't know what I want to do next, but I'm ready for a change. And so she expressed great anxiety in making the decision and taking a step. She was still in her career, trying to decide when was the best time to retire. Should she retire? Should she stay? What should she do next, etc. And so we started by kind of exploring how she got to where she got to. So, how did she get there? And I always find that kind of interesting, the decisions that people make in their life, sometimes by choice, sometimes they fall into it. But regardless, what we identified, we looked at her motivations, her values, a variety of different tools and things that I use, and also what kind of held her back. And so what we identified in her case was a series of saboteurs, things that sabotage her. And we also identified some real stuck emotions that she was having. And so we worked on releasing those. And I use a variety of different techniques to kind of help get people unstuck, including, emotionally. And once she was able to let go of the past, she was really open to moving forward. And so she was able to then decide that what she really wanted to do was kind of experiment, kind of not get right out of her job, but she kind of approached her organization to see if she could maybe move from a full-time position to doing it 3 days a week. So she kind of staged her exit out of her organization and worked out really beautifully for her because she had the security of her job for a period of time. And then she kind of got to see, working 3 days a week, 4 days a week, she, got to kind of see how her life was unfolding. And her partner was already retired. So it really gave her kind of a way to ease into retirement quite beautifully. And so then, a year later, she finally took the full plunge and left her job and was quite happy. So that's an example of Ruth. Another example of kind of transformational coaching, I call it transformational. In this case, it was a client named Frank, a pseudonym named Frank, who came to me just after leaving a corporate job. So he was in transition himself. And, he had left a job where he had great responsibility and tremendous responsibility and credibility. And so now he was kind of like trying to figure out his second act. But in this case, he knew he wanted to set up a business, but he had no idea what kind of business and how to begin. And so I actually took him through kind of a life purpose process to, using a variety of activities and exercises. I really helped him discover, his values and his values today, because values do change over time. So it really helped him kind of discover where he was now as it relates to his values. What were some of the strengths that he had accumulated over the years of working in his corporate job? And also strengths that he had personally. What were the skills that he had developed? and applied it to kind of like what's his life purpose. So we did some visualizations and meditations and journaling and a variety of different activities to kind of help uncover that. And through the various exercises that we use, and also through the commitment that he had to doing his homework, he was able to become very clear on what business he was going to start. And by our last session, he had actually taken the plunge. He had actually put a stake in the ground. He had actually opened his business. So that was very exciting, and just another example of some of the transformation that can occur. So again, this is my life coaching / transformation page. You can read more there, and the same link to book some time with me. The last page that I want to cover, or the last page under the services that I want to cover, is the HR talent management page. And so I include this page because this page, I would say, is predominantly for people that are in HR talent management or leadership development. So when I think of HR talent management, leadership development, I think of HR professionals that assist in, let's say, finding a coach for a coachee, or an executive that's looking to have his team supported, individuals on his team or his team supported. Or sometimes even I've been involved in situations where a client wants leadership development, but they don't want to pay for it themselves. And so we'll work together to come up with a proposal for their organization, and they'll present it. And sometimes people have been quite successful in getting support for leadership development within their organization. A variety of circumstances. Certainly we could talk about that if you give me a call, but I just wanted to, particularly for those that are on the call that maybe are in a position where they are talent managing for their organization, or executives with a team below them and know of a leader within their team that needs some coaching, or perhaps even for yourself, if you need some coaching, this would be the page. And so this basically, you'll see here executive coaching, the types of leadership and executive coaching specialization. You'll also see here my executive coach profile, which is a PDF and has my full professional executive coach profile. You'll see under leadership development a series of tools that I use. These are just 3 of the more common ones I use. I do use others in my practice as well. But for 360-degree feedback, I always use Leadership Circle 360. I love this tool. I've used it extensively on both sides of the border, and it is extremely well received. And very easy to execute. So I really do enjoy this tool, and it provides the leader with excellent feedback. And together we develop a development plan from this feedback, and it's very useful and beneficial. I sometimes, if I'm not doing a 360, or sometimes in conjunction with the 360, I'll use the Enneagram IEQ9, which provides a wonderful report, very detailed report, and it's excellent. I love this because it's more than a personality test. It's very behavioral based, but it's also got psycho-spiritual elements to it as well. It goes very deep. It can go very deep, and it touches a lot of different aspects of the individual in terms of team dynamics and et cetera. So I love that tool. And then the Hogan system, usually this is for more senior executives, where I've used it for more senior executives, and you can read about it there, but it looks at the strengths, the blind spots or the development areas, and also the core personality from the inside, the motivational drivers. So those are the 3 tools that I essentially use, and a little bit more there in terms of talent management and team coaching as well. I can provide team coaching, and lastly, speaking. So I have spoken to a variety of audiences. I guess my biggest audience has been 1,000 people, and on a variety of topics. What you'll see here is you'll see a summary of some of the more popular speaking topics that I'm speaking about now. And so you can download that as well to see what's available. So if you're running a meeting, of course now we're running a lot of virtual meetings, but whether it's virtual or in person, you can see the topics there. Let's see, and my contact information. If you're an organization or an executive and want to talk to me further about how I can help your organization, please contact me there. If you're an individual, you can use one of those links to schedule a meeting right into my calendar. Okay, what else do I want to share with HR talent management? I just want to share a story, I guess. Often I'm brought into organizations through the HR department, or as I said, through like key leadership executives to work with managers, leaders, or executives. Occasionally a client will come to me directly, and I may assist them in putting together a proposal. I remember one particular assignment that I had. It was with a large public organization where I had been assigned 7 of their leaders to help prepare them. Each one of them had different development areas, but they all worked for the same organization, and I had to prepare them for their next level roles. So they were all kind of identified as high potential talent, and we were working to groom them to get ready for the next role. So, you know, my typical assignments are either 6 or 12 months. And so we worked, this group was quite an assortment of leaders, both in terms of personalities, in terms of the roles that they did, quite different. And also each of their respective development plans looked radically different. But each of the leaders, I started each of them with 360 feedback, because I believe it's a great way for each of them to kind of get a pulse on how others perceive their leadership style and effectiveness, as well as how they see themselves. Because sometimes, and not always, but sometimes there's a gap, and so it's helpful to kind of identify those blind spots. But once we debrief the results, we work together to create a specific development plan for each of them, which kind of became our coaching map. And then at the appropriate time, depending on who they reported to, we would have a 3-way meeting as well, just to, you know, to kind of a touch point, and used it as a feedback session as well. And so I'm happy to say that within a year of me working with each of those 7 leaders, 6 of them were actually promoted to more senior leadership responsibilities. So, you know, results were quite rapid and quite effective, and I was very excited to work with this leadership group, and also to see the tremendous results that we got working together. So that was awesome. All right, so that's the 3 services. We've been to the homepage, we've been to Meet Linda, we did the work with me, and next thing I want to take you to the blog. And so the blog is really a wealth of information. The blog has every article, pretty much every article I've ever written. You'll see pages and pages. See 14 pages there. I think there's even more than 14 pages. There's dozens and dozens of articles. And so pretty much whatever topic you're interested in, you'll probably be able to find it going through my blog. So anyway, just wanted to touch base there. Dozens and dozens of topics on a variety of, you know, here even you'll see resilience in times of uncertainty. How long will you tolerate being undervalued? Now the changing workplace could affect your job search, turning dreams into reality, discovering your life's purpose. So wide range of topics that would be of interest to you. So I encourage you to kind of go into my blog and, play around with it, read the articles and see what you find. So the last page is the connect with me. Me is me having fun. And so you can, if you want to, send a comment or get in touch with me, this is another way that you can send me an email. I'm actually located in Toronto, Canada, but I work with clients all over the world. I actually have do quite a bit of work with clients who reside in the States, but have also worked with clients in India and Australia and all over the place. So we work generally by phone, Skype, or Zoom. Here in Toronto, obviously, also can work in person, but certainly the sky's the limit in terms of how we can work together. So I encourage you to get in touch with me and to think about coaching. So I want to go back to the home page now for a moment. Okay, so we've come to the end of this video, and thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this video. But it doesn't mean that we have come to the end of our journey together. In fact, this is just the beginning of a new journey together, and I'm so excited that you're joining me on this journey. The first thing that I want to encourage you to do now is to get my free e-report, because in this free e-report, I share the 3 common reasons that you could be stuck in your career, but I also share those 15 great tips and strategies for how to help you get unstuck and to regain control and to help make a difference in your career or business. And if you subscribe to the e-report, then you'll also get a special discount code that when you use the code, you can access free training for my Create Your Confident Career Plan, Accelerating Your Next Big Move. It's the only place, the only time and only place that I actually offer this training for free. And you'll want to get it. It's very good content. And so the code is, if you sign up for the e-report, you'll get the code. It's right in the e-report, and you can sign up for the training and get the training free. Okay. And also, to support you, there's a series of email support emails that follows to actually give you even more ideas onto how to get unstuck. So I'm very excited. So I encourage you to get this e-report. Go to my homepage, click on the Get It Now, and register for the e-report. The second thing I encourage you to do, if you know you are ready to work with me now, I encourage you to reach out and schedule a complimentary consultation. Now, if you recall, I said on the bottom of each of Career Acceleration Coaching and also Transformation Coaching, right at the bottom there, you can schedule directly an appointment through my time trade, and it's got open slots there for us to have a call together. So I encourage you to, if you want to coach with me, or you're thinking about coaching, or you're not sure if you want to coach, blah, 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 then, it's complimentary, no charge. Totally, it's a discovery session. We'll talk about whether or not we're a good fit and how I can help you, and if I can help you, and if not, where I will send you to get the help that you need. So I encourage you to kind of click on that. And if you're wanting to kind of talk to me, but you're not sure you want to go through the calendar, then on every page is my contact information, Linda Catalan, right at the top here. My phone number, 416-617-0734, and my email address, coaching@lindacatalan.com. So that's it. That's it for the tour of my video. But it's not the end of our journey together, like I said before. And I want to personally thank you for watching this video today and celebrating with me the launch of my new website and my new brand, lindacatalan.com. And thanks again for being here, and thanks for supporting me for as long as you have. So this is Linda Catalan, the new Linda Catalan at lindacatalan.com, an executive and career acceleration coach, wishing you a fabulous day and thanking you for your support. Bye for now.